Well, we have an update regarding the murder of that woman in the Pine Barrens. Of course, News 12 barely covered it. I'm going to read to you the story from Riverhead Local. It says, Riverhead man charged with murder in death of his mother. That's right, somebody murdered their mother. Suffolk County Police have arrested a Riverhead man in connection with the death of his mother, whose body was found early this month in a wooded area in Manorville. Curtis Trent, Jr., 36, of 61 Forge Road, Riverhead, was arrested Wednesday, February 25th, and charged with second-degree murder in the killing of Kathleen Harrison Trent, according to Suffolk County Police Department press release. Kathleen Harrison Trent, 63, of the same address, so they had lived together, had been reported missing to the Riverhead Town Police on January 29th. Her body was discovered February 11th at around 3:21 in a wooded area on Connecticut Avenue, south of River Road in Manorville. 7th Precinct Patrol Unit searching the area found the body. Police previously said detectives believed the death was a criminal in nature. And he was arrested Wednesday at Riverhead. He was arraigned at Riverhead Town Justice Court. All right, on Wednesday. All right, not a whole lot in this story, by the way. I might add, very low on information. Let's see if Newsday has a better article on this, if we can find it. This is a pretty reprehensible crime. Let's see if we can find it here. Of course, it's not even in here. They buried it. Oh, here we go. Son charged with killing. All right, so the son was charged, and they may have a little more extensive article. Let's see if there's any more details on it, because it was. I read somewhere that he had extensive violent mental illness, but of course the article does not bring that up. Let's see what the News 12 story says, because I think maybe that was where we heard about that. So let's find that. So they only spent 45 seconds covering this, which is absolutely deplorable. This should have been covered for at least 1 or 2 minutes. But hey, if it happens in the Pine Barrens, if it happens here, sorry, doesn't matter this place. Sorry, we're not interested in what happens here. It's not in the South Shore, so anyway.
Details about the man accused of killing his mother, a Riverhead woman who was reported missing and later found dead. 36-year-old Curtis Trent Jr. was arrested
How do you not send a reporter to this
his
story?
Mother, Kathleen Harrison Trent. According to new court documents, he stabbed his mother
in
the face, chest, and abdomen in Calverton sometime between January 27th and 30th. Trent was reported missing on January 29th by her other son. 2 weeks later, police found her body in a
that's where Pine Barrens
wooded area of Manorville. Her family shared these photos with us.
I'm sure the family doesn't know how to feel at all. It's hard to displace a family member from someone who does something like that.
Trent Jr. is charged with second-degree.
I read somewhere that he had a history of violent mental illness. But it seems like it's being left out on purpose because, well, they don't want you to know how New York State is failing to keep violent people off the streets. They don't want you to know that. And unfortunately, a woman is dead because of it. But of course, they don't want that. They don't want to talk about that, do they? No, they don't. So, again, the area involved was over here in the Pine Barrens, Connecticut Avenue, which is right over here, Connecticut and Mill Road. So this whole area here, right here, the area they showed. Connecticut's this area right here. So, yep. It's all very disturbing. It really is. How did they barely cover that? Seriously. So, I'll show you what they did cover today, I guess. I mean, that's all the stories I have for you on this, unfortunately. Maybe it was Riverhead News Review I saw it. I don't know. But I mean, how do you not, you know, they're all over Gabby Petito and all over these, when it happens in the Enclave, they're all over it. But if it happens in the Pine Barrens or in the middle of the island, especially the Pine Barrens, they don't really care. It's horrible, horrible. But not surprising, because it's all about the South Shore. It's all about people like this, yeah. Massapequa is quickly becoming the cradle of reality television stardom. All about those areas, my friends. It's ridiculous. So we're going to talk about some of the other things going on here that also they barely covered. Pedestrian critically hurt after being hit by a car in Garden City Park.
Last night in Garden City Park. Police say he was hit while crossing Jericho Turnpike near Nassau Boulevard around 7:30.
I'm here all the time. That is the King Cullen I go to. I'm not surprised.
The driver did stay at the scene.
The driver stayed at 12 seconds. 12 seconds, are you kidding me? I mean, really. But, hey, they're all over this. Because it happened in Merrick. Yep.
Arrested after a Nassau County crossing guard was run over and critically injured. And as News 12's Kevin Vesey explains,
we're all over this for 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Behind the wheel.
It's just very tragic what happened hearing about this.
The Merrick community in shock after a beloved crossing.
But you know if it happened in the middle of the island where they've talked about it, I don't know.
By a pickup truck.
Maybe.
Police say the 70-year-old victim was struck at around 8 o'clock this morning near the Merrick train station. He's in critical condition. The driver, 30-year-old Joshua Alvarado, was arrested. Police say he was high on drugs at the time.
He failed the field sobriety test at the scene. He was brought into headquarters. There was a blood sample taken from him that will be tested to confirm what substance he was using.
Officials say the driver fell asleep at a red light and then misjudged a turn, driving onto the sidewalk. The crossing guard, whose name has not been released, needed to have emergency surgery. A shovel was seen near the crash site, and witnesses believe the victim may have been trying to clear snow at the time. And people in this area describe that crossing guard as a fixture in this community who's at this intersection.
Of course,
just
it's always
about
all
every
about
day.
them, isn't it?
He's here, usually around school time in the morning and the afternoon, and he just, stops traffic to make sure the kids could cross. I didn't see what happened this morning, but it's terrible.
The thought of protecting our young people, protecting
Here's Bruce Blakeman again. He doesn't care about the middle of the island, Mineola, like tonight when I got back. There's a bum hanging out in the elevator.
Going to and from
Doesn't care about that.
Alvarado is charged with driving while ability impaired by drugs and vehicular assault. Police say he has a previous drug arrest and has been cited in the past for speeding.
Another person who shouldn't have been out on the streets. This is what you get in New York State. They did cover some stuff in the middle of the island. We'll give them credit for that. All right. They did cover some. So I'm not here to really call them out too much. I'm annoyed about them not covering that story in the Pine Barrens, though. But while we're here, we will talk about some other news going on Long Island that affects people who don't, who have been just failed by the removing the snow. Oh, of course, sewer backs up in Lido Beach. That gets 1 minute and 20 seconds. But anyway, they're gonna talk a little bit about the snow and the bad situations that people with the snow have to deal with. And they did actually cover this. Here, snow-covered bus stops and sidewalks create safety hazards.
And crosswalks, still a lot of them covered in snow.
Oh my God, that's Central Islip. They never even plowed out the bus stops.
Blizzard, which is creating some dangerous and potentially life-threatening situations for Long Islanders. Our Logan Crawford has the details.
It's 4 days after the blizzard, and Long Islanders are still dealing with safety concerns.
They never plowed out the bus stops in Central Islip.
It's a scary wait for the bus in Central Islip, where riders are being forced to stand in the road on East Suffolk Avenue.
This is the way people are
Sidewalks
treated in the
front
middle of
bus
the
stops
island.
Are still not shoveled.
We get hit by a car, then what's going to happen? We either going to die or we're going to be really critically injured because they don't want to clean that up.
The sidewalk from East Suffolk Avenue
That's
up to the train
unbelievable.
platform is a slushy and slippery path.
Somebody's not doing their job.
It was slippery, and there was no shoveling.
Suffolk tells News 12 it is still working to clear bus stops across the county following this historic
How do you not
snowfall.
clear that?
In Nassau, residents are navigating unshoveled sidewalks as well. The town of Hempstead tells us that businesses along Hempstead Turnpike are responsible for shoveling in front of their stores.
Not looking forward to go across the street like this.
The sidewalk and school crossing on Hempstead Turnpike at Division Avenue in Levittown.
Again, we have such high taxes on Long Island, and we don't know how to remove snow. I know it's up to the business, blah, 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 but why can't the town of Hempstead come through with the dump truck and haul the snow away? I don't understand it.
Remained unshoveled Thursday forcing people to walk into the busy road to cross. News 12 alerted the town of Hempstead, which notified the 7-Eleven. An employee then started shoveling the area.
They need to do better next time.
Logan Crawford.
This is what makes the snowstorms so much worse on Long Island, all right? But this is what it is in the middle of the island. But it's bad on the South Shore, too. Some towns like Belmore are absolutely terrible with the snow removal as well. Another place in the middle of the island temporarily shut down due to some kind of fire alarm malfunction. Of course, that only gets 15 seconds. Just going over all the news here and why it sucks, the snow. Snow-packed sidewalks. Brentwood, another area in the middle of the island.
Are back to in-person learning following Monday's blizzard. Well, except for one. News 12's Long Island Jonathan Gordon is in Brentwood with why the island's largest school district is the outlier today.
We've been covering it all week. Snowed-in sidewalks and messy roads in your neighborhoods. Here in Brentwood, it's no different.
That's the town of Islip.
Students who'd be walking to the high school would instead have to either step here in the road or wade through all this snow.
Mounds of snow piled high posed a challenge in Brentwood, forcing the district to use remote learning for the second day in a row over concerns that not every walking route and bus stop was safe for
terrible.
students.
Look at
in a
these
letter
roads.
to the community, the district said administrators went into several neighborhoods and found a number of streets with significant snow accumulation. Roads too narrow for buses with cars parked along snowbanks and bus stops buried. The decision has gotten mixed reactions from the community. Some thank the district for prioritizing student safety. Others scrambled to figure out childcare and how to get to work.
It's better for the
So the
kids.
town of Islip, I'm sure, made sure that those streets were spotless in Bayshore and Islip and Oakdale. But Brentwood, well, sorry, it's not a lily white area. We're going to neglect it.
We physically be in school. I understand that we have snow days and but the road should be cleaned up so we can resume back to normal work and normal school.
In response, Islip Town DPW Commissioner Thomas Owens said it's on home and business owners to clear the sidewalks in front of their property, adding the number of cars left on the street during Monday's storm posed an additional challenge for plow drivers.
We're concentrating on school areas as we speak. We want to get these kids back in school, obviously, with working together with the school districts.
Sidewalks directly on school property were cleared today, and Brentwood Superintendent of Schools Wanda Ortiz Rivera said the district has been working around the clock to reopen safely. When asked if the district would return to in-person learning tomorrow, we were told the district doesn't have anything to share outside of the letter.
The district said it will continue to prioritize everyone's safety. In
So Brentwood is still closed. The Brentwood School District is still closed. That's unbelievable. Oh, but it gets better, folks. Guess what happened in my town? Well, it should be around here somewhere. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah. Mineola. Shooting range and illegal weapons in Mineola, right by Chaminade High School and an elementary school by the library on Marcellus Road. Actually, News 12, that's why I'm not going to pick on them too much. I mean, I'm annoyed that they didn't cover the other thing, but at least they're doing some middle of the island stuff. All right. But this video is just a point of what we deal with in the middle of the island and the kind of scumbags we have dumped in our area. So let's play it.
Discovery in a Mineola home. Authorities say they found multiple illegal firearms and something shocking in the basement. News 12 Cecilia Dowd is in Mineola with more details tonight.
Marcellus Road.
Good evening. That's right, Joe. Well, in the basement of this seemingly normal home here in Mineola was a 25-foot makeshift shooting range, according to the district attorney. The shooting target, a piece of wood. And what the DA says is terrifying is that this house, also allegedly filled with illegal weapons, is just steps away from Chaminade High School and down the block from an elementary school.
Oh, okay. I see where it is. It's on the other side of Jericho.
Go in and out of these
it's still close
every
enough.
day. From the defendant's bedroom window, he had a bird's eye view of Chaminade.
No, actually, no.
His
it is on the south side of Jericho.
Shares a fence with a Mineola school soccer field.
This is the piece of wood
That's
Wen Lone
unbelievable.
Shu allegedly shot into in a homemade shooting range in his basement, unbeknownst to neighbors because authorities believed he used silencers.
I can't believe that was going on and we didn't know.
It was the defendant's purchases of firearm-related parts, 112 in 1 year, we're told, that kicked off this multi-agency year-long investigation.
It's crazy.
The defendant allegedly had a slew of illegal weapons in his Marcellus Road home, including a ghost gun, assault weapons, gun parts, and all the components to assemble a machine
How am I
gun.
supposed to feel safe living here when people live here
This
like this?
tiny item right here can turn effectively these firearms into machine guns.
And more than 6,000 rounds of ammunition and dozens of high-capacity magazines.
Tucked away in the ceiling of the defendant's bathroom.
The DA did not say if he was planning on doing anything with the weapons, only that the investigation is ongoing. No one answered the door at the home. The defendant pleaded not guilty.
These are the kind of people we have.
Never had as much as a misdemeanor or a violation on his record.
Now, the defendant had his pistol permit revoked in 1999 due to a domestic incident. The district attorney said now bail was set at $250,000 cash, which was posted, and the district
he's out on bail.
attorney says additional charges are likely to come. Reporting from Mineola in Nassau
Yeah,
County.
so these are the kind of people you have in Mineola. And just to show you where this is in Mineola, it's in the nicer part of town, or what I thought was the nicer part of town. Which is over here. I'm just making this video just to show you what goes on with the middle of the island. Okay, so it is the south side of Jericho Turnpike, right by this field right here. So, yeah, right over here. That's unbelievable. Right by the library. I mean, really, you had a stash of guns. This is what goes on in this town, I remember a couple of years ago, they arrested a guy on my street who was killing cats. I mean, these are the kind of people you have living here. You have illegals, you have scumbags, sex offenders. They dump it all here. While the preppies on the little enclaves in the South Shore get to live safe. And then something else happened on the news that wasn't even covered, and that's the fact that these two hotels here on Westbury Avenue and Carr Place, they're dumping a lot of criminals, like people who get out of jail. They're dumping them over there. And there was a shooting, but it was covered up. There's a lot of criminal activity that happens around these hotels. Again, it's all part of the plan. Bruce Blakeman doesn't tell you that, though, does he? No, he doesn't tell you that. He doesn't tell you that at all. He doesn't tell you that at all. So, Brookhaven residents call for landfill closure. So here we go with environmental discrimination.
Brookhaven town officials and the state DEC and residents.
Yeah, it comes as questions continue to rise about contamination linked to the Brookhaven landfill.
News 12.
And this landfill is right by low-income North Bellport area.
Rodriguez has the latest.
And an area where people of color live.
The landfill. Residents stood outside Brookhaven Town Hall Thursday afternoon demanding transparency regarding the Brookhaven landfill, saying they want answers after state-required testing found contaminants in the groundwater.
We have a plume. We know it's affecting groundwater. We have farms that irrigate over this.
That's near the Pine Barrens, too, by the way.
And directly, not from public water.
The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says sampling conducted in 2022 detected contaminants like PFOA and PFOS.
You can see the Pine Barrens
state
there.
Guidance levels and on-site monitoring
We're all
levels.
around.
News 12 has reported on previous lawsuits against the town of Brookhaven in the past after those who lived and worked nearby
So much corruption,
said they
man.
experienced
Telling you.
health problems they believe were caused by the proximity to the landfill.
I've asked the DEC, you're the experts on this. Give us the solution you want us to come to, and the town of Brookhaven will be happy to do so.
The state DEC says the town of Brookhaven is required to complete a corrective measures assessment, hold a public meeting, and submit a report to the state in April. Brookhaven Town Supervisor Dan Panico says a meeting is scheduled for March 27th where town residents can get more answers. Would you say it's safe to drink the public drinking water right now?
The public drinking water, Suffolk County Water Authority water, is absolutely safe.
The DEC says any private wells that exceeded state limits were connected to public water or provided filtration systems, while residents say they'll be looking for more clarity at the March 27th meeting.
So we'll show you where this is. This is in the Pine Barrens. This is a dump that's been here for a while. They're working on closing it down. But there's been a lot of issues here. And there's actually schools by it, too, as well. And kids were getting sick. Who knows what kind of stuff is put here. But you can see there are Pine Barrens all around it. And this is by North Bellport, which is a lower income area I mean, you also have Yaphank over here, which they're trying to turn into an industrial wasteland, building warehouses all over the place. But this is a lower income area where people of color live. Not many white people live there. And, of course, well, you know the way it goes here on Long Island. If you're not in one of those lily white enclaves, this is the way you're going to be treated. And, yeah, the Pine Barrens are here. Obviously, the Pine Barrens don't seem to be being affected by all this crap, but the pine trees, they're stronger than we are when it comes to a lot of toxic stuff. But you know, it just never ends. You know, what can I say? I mean, this is all the stuff that goes on over here on Long Island, and it's ridiculous. It really is. It really is. So I think we'll talk about. I think that's enough. Enough about what's going. They have one other story here about man detained by ICE near Roosevelt High School. So they also covered this again.
And that has some in the community concerned.
News 12's Jenna Ray Gardner.
With this, with ICE again going after people who are not violent, that are not criminals.
Explains.
Well, let's see what's going on with this one.
I'm at Roosevelt High School, just a couple blocks away from where a man was forcefully arrested by immigration authorities this morning. Many kids were passing by on their way to school during the incident.
Do that in front of children?
And people in the community say that they're scared.
They do this on purpose to make people scared. It's like the Gestapo, all right?
This video shows ICE agents pinning a man down and placing him in
This is what Taglio jokes about.
handcuffs. It happened in a neighborhood on East Clinton Street near Park Avenue in Roosevelt while traffic and school buses passed by. This woman lives near where the arrest took place and was afraid to share her name after what happened. We asked her if the kids saw what was happening, and she said yes, because it was during school hours.
Yeah, they did that on purpose. They want them to be scared.
It's very delicate because for kids, that affects them mentally. To see something like that happening to people, it's something that's very hard.
Islip Forward said in a statement to News 12, children should not have to witness armed officers detaining people on their way to class.
It takes you back to what happened in Minnesota. If they're going after criminals, I'm okay with it. But when they're going after people that are working hard and have been here for a long period of time.
Finally, someone with common sense from Wansaw. That's good to see.
News 12 reached out to ICE to learn more about who the man in the video was and why he was arrested. We still haven't heard back.
So, and then we'll just briefly, being that we're on that page, we're just going to go WABC because ICE unlawfully detained a Columbia student as well, a harmless young woman. All right.
To begin with that Columbia University student who was detained
And this
by
is what
ICE
this is what they joke about at Taglio Pizzeria. Folks.
Columbia's president tonight with a very different account than what the feds say happened.
She says ICE entered without a warrant and under false pretenses.
Yep.
Eyewitness News reporter Anthony Carlo with the new information.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Thank you. The life of a college student can be chaotic, but this is not the kind of chaos your average student is used to. Eliagieva wore a jacket over her head to hide from the mob of cameras.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
After being detained by ICE.
We're living in 1930s Germany, folks.
So relieved that our student Eliagieva has been released from federal custody.
Statement to the federal aid, calling it a breach of all legal and ethical standards.
The agents gained entry by stating they were police searching for a missing child.
So they lied, basically. They lied. They I mean, this.
Multiple times.
Protests.
This is
almost a year ago. Columbia grad student.
I mean, this is what goes on. This is what goes on in the United States of America. All right.
Wore badges around their necks.
So this is what goes on. And it's really just. See if I can find some more stories about it in news. Here. You know, this is just unbelievable. Meanwhile, my Danny's old buddy with the fat bastard.
A student
Goes
is out
to
of
show
ICE
you-
detention.
because he
Wanna
made
show
a
you
deal
her
with
here.
him.
I think you
I
can
mean,
see her,
this is what
her under
goes
the
on.
sweatshirt. She's gonna that. You see all those people in this. Her relief. Monica Alba joins us now. There's on some of these threads as we just
So this is what
request that
goes on
she
here.
additional future as well.
Yeah, I wanted to show you a picture, but I guess they don't have it here. But it's harmless young woman. I mean, this is what goes on. So, yeah, we live in a really messed up world right now. And if you're on Long Island, you know, it all depends on where you live. If you're living with the preppy, racist white people in the little enclaves, then you're going to have a good quality of life. But if you're living in the more diverse communities in the middle of the island, you're going to be treated like crap, right? Racism is just endemic here in New York. It really is. So, and again, it's not just racism, it's classism. Why have they barely covered what happened to that woman in Riverhead? I mean, it's reprehensible. It really is. But, hey, the Pine Barrens are just forgotten. People think of them as a wasteland that nobody really wants to go to. And, what can I say? Really unfortunate. But anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. And, normally I don't talk about this kind of stuff, but do these news videos. But it involves the Pine Barrens. I have to talk about it. And it involves what the part of the plan that's going on here, the systematic. It feels like people of color, people with disabilities, we're being forced out. There's many different ways they're doing it. It's, these same people are the ones that back Trump, a lot of them. And I'm not saying all of them, but, well, anyway. That is all. And again, I'm upset about that because I think he killed his mother in the Pine Barrens. I mean, that kind of violence, to have people like that in the Pine Barrens, it's very disturbing. Anyway, that's it. Good night.